So Marcadia again has got a bunch of missions, but there's also a bit of platforming we need to do to actually get to the missions first. So when it comes in, we're going to skip the cutscene, and we're going to charge over to this tree up here. Well, sorry, the tree is here, but the spot that we're trying to stand on at the top of this pillar underneath the tree. And then we're going to get on top of the tree by jumping backwards, then forwards, and then hyper striking. It's a little bit awkward, but once you get a feel for it, you'll get it every single time. It's not that bad. The only thing I should mention is that this game has a feature called wrench lock on, which when you're in the air, Ratchet likes to swing his wrench towards enemies and boxes. So you'll notice there's a bunch of one-eyed pteranoids over here. If you mess up climbing on the tree a few times, these pteranoids will start to come over to you. And then maybe wrench lock on will start to mess you over. So if that's happening, just kill the pteranoids. That might be why you're missing it. This is the only insta-whip I've put in this route, purely because I think it's the easiest way to get across here. So we're going to double jump, glide down, make sure we're on the sniper and the whip in that order. We're going to insta-whip across. And it's pretty comfortable. I didn't even need to hyper strike there to make it across, but if you're not feeling safe, give it a hyper strike. And then this dropship will spawn in right here, and you just go up, charge into the dropship, and start your first mission. Now, you might not like insta-whips, so I've got a couple of other options. So first of all is what Zem recommended in his Marcadia tutorial, which is a regular whip jump, or a whip double jump. I didn't like this because it's very easy to get an accidental wall jump. But I can show you. So again, you're coming onto this spot, you give a whip, and you want to make sure you're jumping backwards to avoid getting a double jump here.
Double jump, ledge grab.
And you get up. Again, I think this is quite awkward. You're very close to the lava as well, so it's quite easy to fall into the lava if you don't time your whip jump well. But that is an option. The other option you can go for is the Yoandi strat. So Yoandi's a runner who's been around for ages. As far as I know, he's the only one that really does this. But this will be a ledge long jump. I forget the proper name for the tech. Wait, you store your momentum into the ledge and use that as a long jump instead. And if you hit this, you'll make it across easily, but I think this tech is quite difficult. So that's a third option if you're not comfortable. I think the insta-whip is the easiest, but it means you have to learn how to insta-whip. But in a way, insta-whipping is very important for getting faster at the game overall, so it's kind of a good place to start. It's right at the start of the level as well, so if you die, there's not too much punishment for missing the insta-whip. Marcadia mission times. So you just mash X to get through all these cutscenes, and we're on to mission 1. So when you're in the dropship, you are actually able to use your quick select. So we equip the plasma coil right at the start of the mission. And we just clear out all these enemies. Plasma coil is great for clearing out a bunch of enemies at once. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip sniper, then turrets. So sniper, turrets. This is how I do the menuing. People have different methods for exactly how they do the menuing. But what we're going to be doing here is the way mission 1 works is you have a bunch of enemies that are spawning over here, and you also have dropships that are flying in. What we're trying to do is set it up so that we don't need to worry about the enemies, we only need to worry about the dropships. So we're going to get our turrets out, shoot 5. 5 is the most turrets you can have out at a time, so you don't need to shoot any more than that. I like to space them out a little bit. It's kind of preference, but it can make it clearing out all the enemies a little bit more reliable. Then we're going to overwrite our turrets. So I'm pressing triangle to move my turrets down 1 into the bottom so we can overwrite them, and we're going to overwrite them with the Rift Ripper. Now we have Rift Ripper, we have no more turrets. This is the setup we want for the rest of mission 1. Rift Ripper, Sniper, and Plasma Core. We're going to need all 3 of these. So I believe I shoot 7 here. You just want to be shooting them. Make sure you're shooting them kind of in line with this building. It's not so much to do with the spawn of the enemies. It's more to do with making sure you have a clean line of sight over here and a clean line of sight over here for your sniper. So A lot of Marcadia is about remembering where spawns are, spawns of dropships. To hopefully make it easier, I've kind of given names to everything. So there's 5 possible spawns you can get on either side of Marcadia. So there's a middle spawn, which will go along here, a low spawn, which will go along here, a high spawn, which will go about this height, a near spawn, which will come right around the corner and come here. And then there's a wide spawn, which starts over here. I believe it does start over here, but you can't see it until it gets up over here. These are the 5 different spawns you can get, and you can also get them all on the right side as well. So when I'm saying you're going to get a left mid spawn, that means you're on the left side like we're looking like right now, and it's going to be the mid spawn. First spawn we're going to get is a left near spawn, and then we're going to do a bit more setup. So shoot our rifts like I was talking about. Wait for it. And you can see these enemies, they're already starting to spawn in, so that's why we've already set up some turrets and rifts. We're going to set up a few more rifts because we've got a bit more time before the next spawn. So I think I like to shoot 4 more rifts here, and then we're going to get 4 spawns in a row. So hopefully we've now set up enough turrets and rifts for everything to get destroyed. And we can just focus on the dropships. So the order is left wide, left mid, right near. So in fact, I'm going to clear everything off the screen now. So we're going to aim over here first. This is a left wide shot. Then we're going to get a left mid shot. Then we get a right mid shot and a right near shot that will come towards us. Takes a bit of memorization, but once you get it, it's pretty straightforward. Then as soon as that's done, we're going to make sure that we've cleared out this entire area, including these guys. So what we're going to turn around and shoot a plasma core shot. And if you've done it right, there'll be nothing left on this mini-map, and the ranger will start saying a dialogue. That one. If there's not, make sure you clear out everything else. There might be some one-eyes down here that have got missed. Generally, the slower you go with the dropship shots, the more likely it is that you'll still have some one-eyes down here. Make sure everything is dead. And I can't speak German, but when there's like a pause in the ranger dialogue, I know that's a good time to throw myself off. And we get a pretty good death abuse. So actually, let me just let that play out so you can hear. So yeah, the ranger pauses for like a second or so to start saying the next sentence, and that's when you can kill yourself. That's mission 1. I should also say, just when you're sniping, aim at the front of the ships. I find that seems to work better. Or aim to shoot your shot. I guess you can see when I shoot my shot. Shoot your shot at the front of the ship. That seems to work best for me. Sometimes the ships will take 2 shots, and I never quite understood exactly why it happens, but I find aiming at the front of the ship seems to work the best. Mission 2. So immediately on mission 2, we're going to look to the right and clear out some enemies. You don't need to worry about how fast you do this. It's not really, it doesn't affect your time. The way mission 2 works is you get sets of 3 dropships, and only the 3rd dropship in the set is actually the one that you need to kill quickly. So the first set is right near, left low, right high. So we've got the right near one coming around the corner. The left low one, so you see I'm aiming a little bit lower this time compared to the mid shots. And then we've got right high, so I'm going to aim like near the top of this dome. Again, this is all memorization. So now we're going to again have to clear out some sources, this time on the left with our plasma coil. Get our sniper again, and this time it is left mid, left wide, right mid. So aiming in the mid. So actually, just for reference, when I'm aiming for the mid, I'm aiming along this line of the whatever this thing in the background. When it's low, I'm aiming roughly around this texture. When it's high, there's like a little line aiming around here. That's roughly where I'm aiming for the 3 different heights. Low, I don't really, wide rather, I don't really have a lineup. It's just around here. And again, mid. So then we're going to get one last wave. This time there's two sources and there's only one ship. So the sources spawn on either side. One of them is kind of, they come in from invisibility, so it's good to line up before they're even here. It's kind of on where these two lines meet. If you can see this line and then this line, that's roughly where the source is going to come in. And you can see I'm pretty much ready to kill it. It's not even fully visible. And the way you can tell is this little red circle on the sniper. If the red circles come up, you know you're in the right spot. Again, so this one comes up around here. And then what we're going to do, I mean, you don't have to do this. You could stay on the platform, but if you want, well, since there's only one ship that's going to spawn this time, we might as well get a nice good angle on it. So we're going to go right over into the corner. And then this is a right near mid ship, so it's coming around the corner like this again. But we can see it nice and early. And then we're also right next to the lava for a death abuse. And this is one of the death abuses you can't do too quickly, so just chuck yourself in. Okay, mission 3. This time we're going to be in the turret. The key to mission 3 is learning to aim ahead of the ship, since the bullets have travel time. They don't get there immediately, so you want to be aiming ahead of where the ship is Space Invader style. And the way mission 3 works is there's 4 waves. The first one is a left low, so it's going to be taking this trajectory, like this. This is what makes mission 3 a little bit harder, is you've got to remember exactly the path they take. So this one kind of goes all the way around the back. And you can see I'm aiming, what, 1.5 ships distance ahead? Roughly about that spacing. Don't worry about optimizing your mission 3s too much. Honestly, by the time you get good at the game, you'll be doing a mission 3 skip anyway. I find it quite rewarding when you have a good mission 3, so just keep trying, but it's not something I worry about practicing too much. The second one is going to be a right mid, so it's going to start mid, and it's actually going to go lower by the fence after it's gone behind the building. The other thing I'll say is try to clear out these sources as you're going, because if too many spawn, the rangers don't deal with them. In fact, you can see this ranger's just died, and then they'll start to come onto you. If they start shooting you, I would give up on the ship you're currently shooting and clear out the saucer, unless you're very near the end of the mission. So you can see this one goes a bit of a lower line. Okay, so that's the first 2 waves. Now, for the third and fourth waves, we get 2 ships spawning at the same time. So, I mean, you don't need to worry about it too much, but these are both mid, left mid and right mid. But most importantly, they're going to finish on the left side. Obviously, we're looking at the back at the moment, so I'm pointing to the right. But they're both going to end up on the left side of the arena. So it is preference, since they both spawned at the same time, it is preference which one you shoot first. I like to go to the left here. And this one's going to kind of curve around like this. And then you're going to get the one that's also spawned at the same time is going to come around like this and actually go over here, I believe. So the key here is knowing when the first one dies so that you can transition quickly over to the second ship. And it takes a bit of practice, but like I say, okay, so here the ships have started shooting at me. I've been a bit aggressive in this, in that I've killed the ship over here. If you're confident, clear the ship and then clear the enemies. If you're not so confident, clear the enemies, then the ship. So there were actually 3 there. But definitely before the next wave starts, make sure any sources that are shooting you are dead. Because it is possible to die on this mission. This mission is really tough for a casual, and even for a speedrunner, it takes kind of a while to get really comfortable with it. And then we're on to the final wave. So we've got a left low and a right high. So the right high is coming in here, and the left low is going to be on the other side. But most importantly, they're going to be both finishing up around this area on the right. Oh, this isn't the best aim, is it, Chili? So right now, I know I'm about to finish the mission, so I'm really not worried about this saucer. that was over on the left. I'm not too worried about this guy because I know I'm about to finish the mission. And also, I've still got quite a bit of health. If you're low on health, definitely clear out these guys. And the only thing to note also is if you don't kill the ships in time, they will drop off enemies. You need to clear out the enemies before the next wave will start, or to finish the mission. It will generally happen probably on this final wave that you mess up, or maybe on the third wave. If you've not killed the ship in time, it will drop, I think, 2 enemies. Just kill them. They'll die really easily, but it's just losing more time. Now I can talk about mission 3 skip. So there's 2 ways to do mission 3 skip. One way is definitely not recommended for a beginner, which is with turrets. I'm not even going to show you any clips of that. The other way you can do as a beginner. The thing is, the way it works is it's kind of semi-RNG in that it's a 1 or 2 frame trick and the frame that you need to hit moves, and we don't fully understand it. But what you would do, instead of doing any of this, before the mission, you would equip Agents of Doom. Version 1, 2, or 3, I believe. And you just need to throw the agents at the right time at the start. So I've got a clip of an old run of mine that did it. So I'm throwing them around here. There's not much of a science to this. And then you get a proxy on the agents and you make it over. And then you can kill the ships with a sniper rifle instead, which is way, way faster. The reason why I kind of hesitate to recommend this to a beginner is because it is basically random. It's not fun to have random tricks, and it's just another thing to worry about. But it's not hard at all in terms of you just kind of go for it. What I could say is go for it once. If you end up in the turret, just use the turret. Don't worry about resetting over and over trying to get the skip. That's kind of a balance you can go for if you want, or you can keep resetting for it if you want. For a while, I thought I understood how the agents work. Then I didn't think I understood how the agents work. It's a very finicky trick doing it with the agents. But I definitely wouldn't recommend doing it with the turrets. That's quite a high-level strat. On to Mission 4. So Mission 4 is where we get a break. So Mission 4 is a 2-minute mission where you have to stop these rangers from dying. That's it. There's no way to go faster. There's no way to go slower. The only way you can kill the run is if the rangers die. So what I will recommend is that you just grab this ledge, and what the enemies will do is they'll try and shoot you rather than shoot the rangers. It's really stupid, but you can just sit here, have a break, go to the toilet if you need, go to the bathroom if you don't understand what English people are talking about. It's just a 2-minute break. You'll notice at the start I did a bit of menuing. So what we are doing here is turrets, then shot cannon, then plasma coil. And that's just setting us up ready for Mission 5 and LDF. But you don't need to watch this. Literally, I just sit here for 2 minutes. I wasn't even playing the game while I was recording this. And you can see that they just don't even aim for you. Another option is that you can do a turret clip and get under this platform. That's what a lot of runners do. That's generally what I do in runs. Or if you want, you can practice your movement. Just make sure that the rangers aren't dying. Everyone does it sometime that they kill a run to Mission 4, which is kind of the stupidest feeling. The only bit to worry about on Mission 4 is the death abuse. So the way we like to do it is as a countdown. So you just want to go 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. And by the time you count to -2, you're fine to throw yourself off the edge. If you're feeling really, really spicy, I like to count the ands. So 0 and 1 and 2. And I'll kill myself on the and of 1. So I'm basically counting to -1.5. But 2 is fine. There was a bit of a meme about getting com gold as in the fastest possible time of Mission 4. But I can promise you nobody cares about Mission 4 com gold. Okay, Mission 5, right at the start. Again, we're going to abuse the fact that we can use the quick select right here and just equip the shield. Then we're going to step around this turret and go onto the bolt crank. Press square while you're charging near a crank and you immediately latch onto it. So you can charge all the way up to it. And we're going to pull out our plasma coil. And as we grab onto this bolt crank, we're also going to shoot. So we're going to be near the bolt crank and press circle square. And that will allow us to shoot a plasma core shot and turn the bolt crank at the same time. And you'll see that our plasma core shot then goes off over here and kills this guy. This is purely just to stop so many enemies spawning that you can bonk on later on. It's not entirely necessary. So then we're going over to this one. This is a really straightforward mission. We just need to turn a bunch of bolt cranks. On this next one, which is kind of this angle, I like to press L1 to line up the camera first to see where I'm going. And because you may get some enemies in this area that you're trying to avoid. And again, we're going to do the circle square trick to kill this guy. So you see the plasma core comes out and basically shoots into the ground. Now, the only important thing about Mission 5, really, is that we use it to set up Ghost Ratchet. Now, if you've watched Kirpling's tutorial, you know that Ghost Ratchet is a kind of a state where the game thinks you're dead and you can walk through walls. So what we do as the mission finishes, hold down right. You can see I'm already holding down right down here. Hold this way, and that will take us towards a patch of lava. And this is a very lenient timing. I don't even need to explain it, really. I don't have a timing. I don't count anything. I just walk over here. When you know that the mission's about to finish, just glide on top of the lava. And that is enough. The game will count you as in the lava, even though you're not in the lava. And that will give you Ghost Ratchet when the mission finishes. Super, super easy. The scary thing is coming up is LDF, which is quite a tricky section. And if you die on LDF, you lose your Ghost Ratchet. But we'll go through that. So you skip the cutscene, fly over to LDF, just mash X through all of these. And now this first jump in LDF looks scary. And you might be scared to do it. I can promise you it's basically impossible to die doing this jump. And you either mess up so badly that you have no momentum, and then you won't go through the wall, or if you hit the falling neutral launch jump, you will go through the wall and you will make it. There's no way you can't make it. So it looks like this. We're going to aim roughly at this pillar. Falling neutral. And come through to this side. If you're really not feeling it, the reason I'm doing this, recommending this, is we have the refractor. If you hit this, it plays a long cutscene. So really, your only other option is to kind of walk this way, jump through the wall, and then walk through the door that's over here. You can do that if you want, but this falling neutral is, I'm not going to say zero risk. That you could probably do something to mess it up, but it's a very low risk strat. But everything else we do in LDF, I'm going to keep it as baby mode as possible, because like I say, if you die on LDF, you die in real life. No, if you die at LDF, you lose your Ghost Ratchet, and then you've basically killed your run. If you want to keep going, there are some options, but you're losing a lot of time from losing Ghost Ratchet. So we're going to charge through this door. You can kill this guy if you want. And then what we're going to do is just wrench string through the wall. So when you have Ghost Ratchet, you can't just walk through a wall. You need a bit more momentum. You either want to jump through a wall or wrench swing through it. So there's actually two walls here. There's a wall and then there's another wall just behind it. So we're going to wrench swing through. We're through the first wall, and this is where you want to kind of get quite familiar with what LDF looks like, because this camera is going to be a bit different every time. So I've actually now gone through the second wall. So you can, this is the second wall, and you can actually see the first wall's here, second wall's here. And where we want to be going is back behind us. This is where we came from. We were over here, then we came over here, then we went through the wall. I'm only showing this because it's quite hard to figure out from a video exactly what's going on, but understanding the layout of LDF is really, really useful. And when you get stuck and you've gone through a wall that you're not expecting, it can save your whole run. So I'm now going to turn the camera around, and this looks scary, but like the floor is right here. So we're going to go up, kill this guy. And again, I'm just walking here because we're playing it super safe. This spot can be a bit annoying. Like Ratchet really likes to wall jump here, so just don't hold forward too much is all I can say. Double jump through the wall. Charge. charge. And now the way the layout of LDF works again, let's see if I can get a better layout. So the game wants you to go this way, and then you'd kind of go round in an L shape, and you'd end up over here. What we can do is simply just long jump through the wall. It doesn't need to be a neutral long jump or anything. You can just do walk up to the wall and then do a long jump. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cancel our charge, just long jump through. And this will hit the cutscene without. And that is LDF. You teleport back to the ship. So if you die and you're going to lose Ghost Ratchet, first of all, if you've lost Ghost Ratchet and you really want to continue to run, you can either do it casually, so get the refractor, do the refractor puzzle, or all the doors that are closed due to the refractor, you can clip through with turrets. They're not the nicest turret clips, but it's doable. I will just show you quite a difficult strat, but something that is worth knowing. If you've fallen out of LDF, start gliding and look down. And you'll see that your ship is there and a couple of rangers. It's quite hard to miss because you're so high up. You should be able to find it. What you want to do is land on the ship, and a drop ship will spawn in. And then you want to set up an insta-whip. And this insta-whip is quite tight, but insta-whip and long jump over, you can make it back to the dropship, and that will let you go back to LDF. And you will still have Ghost Ratchet because you never died. That is quite a hard strat, but it's just a backup that's worth knowing for when you get a bit better at the game. I would not expect any beginner to hit that backup, but it's quite useful to know. When you're going back to the ship, you want to be mashing X and R1. And that's purely because sometimes, and I'm not sure if it's like a frame perfect trick, sometimes the game will actually spawn you on the roof of the dropship instead of down here. And your charge will come out earlier. It's not a big deal, don't worry about hitting it, but it's nice when you do. So now we are going to go back to the Phoenix, which will be automatically highlighted.